What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun Meehan, and joining me as always is my partner in crime, Mr. Conor Lawler.
That was a completely normal intro.
I'm just, Conor, I've got a lot to cover today, alright?
You're a changed man.
I decided 200 episodes in, going to start taking this podcast a little bit seriously.
Some would say maybe 100 before this would have helped.
No, I was still finding my feet in the podcast world at that
the
time.
SEO has suffered so much.
No, we can always repair it. It'll be fine. It'll be grand, lad. Don't worry about it.
So, Shaun, this is Hero Zero. This is the show where we choose one comic book character every single week. Look, you know this, but I'm just letting the people know.
I'm aware it's been 200 weeks
every week, it's like I tell you for the first time, but it's like you've been here, I think.
Shaun, please have something.
Serious, 200 in. Just get this down. Write it down somewhere. It's a show where we choose one comic book character every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points. And we generally just give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. Now, I normally choose DC characters. Shaun, you normally choose Marvel characters. So, Shaun,
True.
It is your week. I did Shining Knight last week, so if you haven't checked out that episode, you can check that one out.
Very good episode.
But Shaun, you're up this week, so I'm interested to know who you've chosen.
Conor, this is a problem only shared by me and you, is that after 200 weeks, we are running out of, the top tier cream of the crop comic book characters.
It's 100 characters each, so can anyone name 100 comic book characters?
I can't even name 10, but...
Batman, other Batman.
But we had a rule that we wouldn't cover like the major players like your Iron Mans and your Spider Mans and your Batmans and things like that.
Yeah.
So what I did is I found a loophole.
Oh no.
And I remember this is comic books, and there's infinite numbers of alternate universes that we can talk about.
Okay.
And not only that, this is also a character that I've talked about before. So I'm doing him kind of again, but kind of different.
Okay, so that rules out Spider-Man.
It's not Spider-Man, but
okay.
I have done Miles Morales from the same universe.
Yes, you've done the Miles Morales in the MCU, well, not the MCU, Marvel.
The Ultimate Universe,
The Ultimate Universe. But now, okay, is it Captain America?
It is not.
Okay.
It is a character, goes by the name of Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe.
Known bastard Reed Richards.
Known bastard Reed Richards, and... not to spoil anything, Conor, this is when he's his most bastard. Because...
I thought that was our one.
The one that we made up in our heads. Not to spoil anything, but Reed Richards, Ultimate Universe Reed Richards, is a villain.
Well, to be fair, now, this does not surprise me, but he's also a villain in normal Marvel comics.
Okay, but I'm going to do the report and then you can...
Is he like Hitler? Like, how bad are we talking?
I mean, I don't... Oh, it's bad, dude.
So
if
this is your first time tuning in to any of our Fantastic Four talk, me and Shaun's, from the very, very start, from the first day we met, we bonded over the fact that we were like, Reed Richards, comic book Reed Richards, is an absolute bastard. A terrible man. Just atrocious at all times. He's always really mean to Ben Grimm. Ben gets turned into a rock creature. He's like, I'm named Mr. Fantastic. You're the fucking thing, you ugly prick.
Literally everyone in the world will tell him, oh, don't build that machine, that could wipe out everything. And then he'll build it just to see if he can.
And then he's like, oh no, I'm reaping what I sowed.
And so... the Ultimate Universe, very, very quickly, is at kind of the early 2000s. Marvel wanted to refresh a bunch of their characters and tell a bunch of new stories, create an easier entry point for people new to reading comics. And so they created the Ultimate Universe, which is heavily inspired by the events of the mainline Marvel Comics universe, but it's condensed and simplified and updated for a modern age.
It's basically kind of actually, it was like New 52 for DC before New 52.
Yeah.
But New 52 went all in, whereas Ultimate probably was like half in. They wanted to also keep the other half.
Marvel Ultimates was like a soft launch where they could try out things that they thought would be cool. And then they would fold in whatever was successful about 10 years later.
Yeah, makes sense.
Absolutely. Like they made the right call. And there's bits in this that, like, some of this backstory is shockingly similar to certain depictions of this character that we've seen.
Is he still mean to Ben Grimm?
Oh, he's... Look, it doesn't go into it in the report, but I'm assuming he is.
I'm assuming, yes. Is he beating up Sue Storm and beating up Johnny? I'm assuming he's just a bastard to everyone.
He makes some, he's a bastard to everyone. He makes some bad calls, but he's,
here we go. Okay, I'm prepared for this.
Childhood, all right? Gary and Mary Richards had a kid. They named him Reed. They realised early on this kid is very, very clever. He's well ahead of like any other child of his age, any other child of his year in school. So Reed, and he was always focused on science to the point that he would kind of isolate himself. He wouldn't go out and play sports and things like that with the other kids. His father would often find him cannibalizing household appliances, trying to create something new. You are so happy I said household appliances.
I was like, straight off the gate, I think he's a bad one. I don't want to come in too strong too early, but if he's eating people, then I'm going to be like, I'm going to frown upon that.
Well, he's not eating people. He's just he's taking apart like video players and DVD players and all that kind of thing. Video
players.
He's eating Betamax tapes.
Yeah, cool.
And his father, annoyed that his son was taking apart the appliances that he had worked so hard to pay for, would often physically abuse Reed as punishment.
Cool.
He was also, his heightened intellect made him the subject of ridicule at school. So he was very heavily bullied. But despite this, he became friends with Ben Grimm, who in school was the like star quarterback.
Okay, maybe this is the way where he turns it around.
Oh, you'll think so.
Oh.
But so him and Ben, he teaches Ben like what's the word? Tutors him in like science and maths and all that kind of stuff. And Ben in turn is like, hey, look, don't bully this kid. He's helping me. And that's how they become friends in this.
Okay.
So while Reed was 10 years old, and tell me if this rings a bell, Connor, he began developing schematics for a device that could transmit matter across dimensions.
This is the plot of Fan Four Stick.
It's exactly the plot of Fan Four Stick. They ripped it from the Ultimate Universe.
Cool.
He displayed his work at the Middleton School Science Fair, where he successfully teleported a toy into an alternate dimension. An agent named Lieutenant Lumpkin, who was at the fair, recommended him for induction into a special government think tank based in the Baxter Building in New York.
That plot point doesn't get any better, comic book version or movie version, that there's a CIA agent
just strolling around like a high school science fair.
He's just going around the science fair. Also, in the movie, what always sticks out to me is obviously Miles Teller is about 34 in that scene and everybody else is 14, which first of all also weird, but secondly, when he successfully teleports something, all the teachers in that movie are like, you're a fucking dickhead, you awful cheating bastard.
This isn't a magic fair.
And I was like, even if it was magic, is that not so cool?
That's impressive. Like,
why would a teacher be like, you dickhead, get out?
And like it's, and then in the, I assume it's in the film as well, but it's explicitly said in the comic is that for agreeing to let Reed go to the Baxter Building in New York, his family are paid a monthly fee. So his father is like delighted to get rid of him, and he gets paid for the privilege.
Okay, they just get paid to get rid of him.
Yeah, which is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
But doesn't forgive the things that he's going to do in the future, let me tell you. So he went to the Baxter Building and he began working for a noted scientist named Dr. Franklin Storm. Storm introduced Reed to his greatest achievements, his daughter Susan and her younger brother Johnny. So while he was there, he also developed the designs for the Fantastic Car, the idea being that he could go back and visit home whenever he wanted, but he also never wanted to go home because he hated his father, but he just wanted to build a car and wanted an excuse.
He just wanted to build a hot rod, do you know what I mean? You gotta feel that under your legs.
Jeez, I love when you talk about cars, Connor.
Or bikes. So, I'm a bit of an automobile junkie, Shaun. You can probably tell.
Bit of a gearhead over here, guys.
La Familia.
For the next several years, Reed would work on his teleportation technology. In the Baxter Building, he had every resource at his disposal, and they even developed, it was kind of a window that could peer into the negative zone, or the end zone, as they call it in the Ultimate Universe.
Right, okay.
During this time, Reed met a fellow student named Victor Van Dam.
Victor Van Dam.
Victor Van Dam. Yeah. Like Jean-Claude. But
Jean-Claude. Is it Jean-Claude's son?
No.
Okay.
Just, his name's just Victor Van
Well,
Damme.
look, as long as there's not Doom in his name, I'm assuming he's a good guy.
Oh, he's going to end up, like, he's going to come out good out of all of
Actually,
this.
he might be good in this one. Go on.
Victor was a brash and arrogant student, noted for his enmity towards his fellow students, which I think is superiority complex.
Yeah, it's a fancy way of saying he's just a dick.
Just a prick. One day, Reed found Victor. Victor was going through Reed's room, going through his notes. Not only that, but he was also making corrections to Reed's calculations. And being like, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And Reed is like outraged at first. But then he's like, actually, if you're able to do that, you're about as smart as me. Do you want to be friends? And the two became best friends at the time. Because now, by the time they reached adulthood, they had made a transmitter to transmit things from the Ultimate Universe into the end zone, the negative zone. They went out to the Nevada desert.
Sorry, by the way, whenever you say Ultimate Universe, you just mean their universe.
Their universe, excuse me, yeah. So they went out to the Nevada desert to set up kind of a testing site, and Reed's old school friend Ben Grimm showed up to see how his old pal was doing.
What a time, Ben.
What a time. He was on college holiday and just wanted to see what Reed was up to.
He just drove out to the middle of nowhere where they're doing this test.
Yeah.
And Ben just pulls up in the truck, gets out, starts waving. He's in his Letterman jacket and he's like, guys, haven't talked to you. What's going on?
It's me, Ben. I'm just going to be here. I won't interrupt it
Honestly,
all. Don't
lads,
you worry.
I could come back. I can come back at a different time if this is a work for you. What are you up to? Are you up to something weird? I'd say you are, lads. Are you?
Oh, Jesus, lads. Oh, Jesus. And then what Reed does, because he's an idiot, but he's also a genius, but he's an idiot, is he's like, Ben, come up to the control panel here with all the rest of us.
Yeah.
You'll want to see what's happening. You'll understand everything that's going on, surely.
Good friend.
Good friend Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to everyone, Victor Van Damme had altered the coordinates on the transmitter device, meaning that instead of the apple that was 50 feet away that they were hoping to transport,
Oh no.
they transport the 5 people standing on the platform instead.
Oh, this is not going to end well.
Reawakening several yards away, right?
Yeah.
Reed rose to his feet, discovering that he now possessed the ability to stretch and remold his body into a variety of shapes.
It's literally the plot of Fan Forstic, other than they touch weird goo in that movie, if I remember.
There is a bit of weird goo going on, but yeah, essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that like it? And I think the comic panels are very similar in how they find out their powers. Because Ben, Sue, and Johnny also develop powers on their own, but mysteriously, Van Damme, he's mysteriously gone missing.
He's gone.
He's Van gone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe he's stuck in the negative zone. No.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Oh, well, that's okay.
He establishes a small community in Denmark, is what he does.
I was not expecting that.
Because they knew Latveria had to come up,
Yeah.
but they hadn't established Latveria yet.
To be honest, good quality of life in Denmark.
Pretty good
Yeah.
healthcare.
Very good healthcare. A very good school system. I think he'd do well over there. I think he's fine.
He's doing very well. What he does is he basically brings an entire community under his control using neural implants. And when the Fantastic Four arrive to stop him, what he does is he eliminates each member of the Fantastic Four one by one until only Reed is left.
Of course.
And now it's 2 old friends facing off against each other.
Yeah,
Connor.
here we go.
So, Reed fought Victor, winning the fight until all of the townsfolk were unleashed upon Reed all at once. Unable to convince Victor to help him reverse the changes, and unable to force him to do so as Victor has diplomatic immunity, Reed leaves and returns his focus to science, altering the transporter so it can now move between time and dimensions. So,
Right. So, hang on. The town leapt on top of Reed Richards.
all the townspeople are mind controlled, basically.
Right.
And
And so
Doom
they just
controls
leap
all
on
of
top
them.
of Stretchy Man.
Yeah, they all just run at him at once, and he can only stretch so far.
Does Van Damme have powers?
He does.
Okay.
He's largely Von Doom. Like
Okay,
throughout the
cool.
month, he's just slightly younger. and
called Van Damme.
He's a bit more technology than magic in this one.
Okay, I can see that. Cool.
Yeah. So the Fantastic Four then went public, battling the extra-dimensional alien Nihil in Las Vegas. That doesn't matter. But Reed, after this event, begins craving public approval of being a superhero.
Yes.
Compensating for his father's disapproval.
Yes.
He balanced his obsessive love of science against his romantic relationship with Sue Storm and his new celebrity status.
What does she see in that man? I don't know.
Absolutely
He's
nothing.
an absolutely awful human being.
Well, to be fair, at the minute, like, he's mostly fine at the minute. But now he's getting a bit of an ego behind him.
Right, okay.
So then an event called Ultimatum happened in the Ultimate Comics. Basically, Magneto, he snaps and he releases a big tidal wave across New York, killing most of the heroes and mutants. Because he's like, I'm just going to start again, is his whole plan.
Fuck.
After the Ultimatum wave hit New York, Reed realised that Victor would continue to destroy the world if he wasn't stopped. So Victor Von Doom, while all the heroes are gone, is now just making a power play, basically.
Makes sense.
What Reed does is he prompts Ben Grimm, the Thing, to go to Latveria and kill Victor Von Doom.
Sorry, he sends someone else to do it.
He sends someone else to do the dirty work, because Reed can't face Doom, of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not going to go fight him, but Ben, you rip him apart. And then we'll see what happens.
And then, after this, Franklin Storm, who died in the Ultimatum wave, Susan Storm's father, he dies, they have a funeral. After the funeral, Reed proposes marriage to Susan Storm.
Yes.
Classic dick move. Susan Storm rejects him, and the Fantastic Four disbands.
Oh my God.
Reed moves back in with his abusive biological family, and he ponders what to do next.
This is going to go well.
Unable to accept the destruction that Magneto caused with the wave, he's unable to accept that the team split up, and he can't accept that Sue rejected his proposal. Reed's worldview changes drastically. He also received correspondence from Kang the Conqueror, who told him that his world was going to end eventually. 6 months after this, Reed fakes his own death, has the Richards' home blown apart, killing his family, and then arranges attacks by alien creatures on the Baxter Building, the Triskelion, Roxxon, and Peter Parker's home.
Poor old Pete.
Poor Peter just had to be kicked down a notch.
Honestly,
there.
that lad never gets a break. Like, even in the Ultimate Universe, it's just like, kill Peter Parker. Doesn't matter what we do, just kill him.
Ultimate Universe Peter Parker is amazing, by the way. Like, he was like my first proper Spider-Man run that I ever read was the Ultimate Spider-Man. So good. But they cannot let that boy be happy. And in the Ultimate Universe, I swear to God, he is 16 for most of it.
And he's always just getting beaten the shit out of.
He's just having terrible things.
Everybody knows that Lobes dies, and he's always getting the shit kicked out of him, and he's just always sad.
So Sue finds out that Reed organised all these alien attacks, and he also finds out that he faked his death and made them all grieve for him without telling.
She's happy. Like, she's like, take a great plan.
I'm fucking free from that lad. No, she attempts to kill Reed, but he was able to neutralise her and then subjected her to extreme pain and torture. He then was attacked, a portal opened, and he was then trapped in the negative zone going forward.
Okay, I suppose that's good.
Well, is it though? Because he has a new layer set up in the negative zone, and it's basically all of his lab was brought in. It's all fucked up and like twisted together. So he's just stuck in the negative zone. He's planning his end game. He's planning what his big return, what his next step is going to be. So it's discovered that he's in there, and the heroes come to a bunch of heroes come to basically confront him and be like, Reed, what's going on? And Johnny Storm is angry because Reed hurt his sister. And that's the main thing he cares about right now.
I mean, makes sense, absolutely.
And so Johnny unleashes a massive flame attack, disfiguring the right side of Reed's face and causing him to lose functionality of his right arm. He was then flung from the base and left floating aimlessly about the negative zone for an undetermined amount of time.
Can his skin be burned or damaged? Could he not like move more skin? Does that make sense?
I get it. Yeah, he is susceptible to, because it's cellular damage. Like he can stretch his cells,
but if the cells are damaged to begin with,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. It's kind of useless. So he eventually found a way of returning to Earth, and he set up a group called the Children of Tomorrow, and their aim was to create the perfect world. Okay,
always a bad start.
To this end, he used his knowledge of time and dimensional portals to set up a thing called the Dome. And in the Dome, time passes at an accelerated rate compared to the outside world. So Reed Richards and this little fucking cult that he set up spends 900 years basically evolving themselves and becoming perfect.
What the fuck is going on?
It's insane. The Ultimate Universe is breakneck pace, Connor.
So the rest of the world is like moving at like a minute, and it's like a minute is like at 24 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's just the whole point of it is that given enough time, science and technology will advance to such a point that they can take on anything that the present day can throw at them. So like they could have been there in like 6 months real world time, but there was 900, like nearly like a millennium for Reed Richards.
Like he's just spent 900 years being Hitler.
Pretty much. More like a Charles Manson kind of thing.
Oh, yeah,
like
that's better.
A charismatic leader.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's fine. And he also, like, they don't age while they're in there either, obviously.
Even better.
So the Hulk was sent to attack the Children of Tomorrow, and after this, the Maker deployed an antimatter bomb on Washington, D.C., killing the President, his cabinet, and Congress.
Good. That's a good start.
Afterwards, Tony Stark contacted the new president to make a plan, and Stark volunteered himself as a prisoner for the Children of Tomorrow in order to ensure further peace, that there wouldn't be another antimatter bomb set off.
It's almost too, what's the word I'm looking for here? That Tony Stark would do something for somebody else. It's a very unselfish thing to do, which is very unlike comic book Tony Stark.
It's not his general MO, but he also wanted to get inside and see.
He just wanted to see what tech they had.
Wanted to see what was going on. So then, what happened next is that Reed Richards is about to like basically dissect Tony Stark and just see what his brain's all about.
Fucking hell!
But in the Ultimate Universe, Tony has a brain tumor. And that tumour is what allows him to interface with technology.
Right.
And because he's hooked up to all these machines, he's able to basically take over the Dome. And the end goal is that Reed Richards is captured and he is handed over to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Jesus. So Tony Stark has like the ability to interact with computers with his brain.
Yeah. So instead of Jarvis, it's called Anthony in the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
And it's a brain tumour that lets him talk to technology,
Jesus,
basically.
okay.
It's absolutely fucked up. So after this, Galactus comes to the Ultimate Universe, right?
He pops down for a visit.
You were all familiar with Galactus, big cloud man.
Look, he eats planets and he's made of clouds.
Exactly. And so Reed decided to escape custody and try to appeal to the Ultimates, which are the Avengers in this universe. He's like, look, I know I did bad. I'm ready to change. I can help you stop Galactus.
I know I'm Charles Manson / Hitler. Look,
hold my hands up.
I'll hold both my hands up. I'll freely admit that, lads. I've had a few moments where I may have done some things that were seen as, iffy. A bit iffy. But lads,
I blew up the president.
I may have blown up the president. Haven't we all? But sure, we all thought about it. I was the only one who did it, right? But what I'm here to say is I can punch a cloud like the fuck. There's nobody else here that can punch a cloud like I can. Right? I'll stab a cloud. I don't care.
Well, his whole plan is that he's going to go to a universe where they've stopped Galactus already, take the data from them and apply it in their universe. So he goes to Earth 616, the main Marvel universe.
Cool.
And he ends up in the Baxter building of the main Marvel universe, meets Sue Storm, finds out she's happily in a relationship with the Reed Richards there. He has a change of heart. He's like, maybe, God, if it can work here, it can work back home, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I've been wrong all of these years.
Maybe I'm such a nice guy. She has to like me.
And then what he then does is he goes home.
I know this is going to be fucked from the look on your face. Go on.
Well, no. Well, first of all, we have the Galactus problem to deal with.
Yeah, that's a small, minor issue.
And his plan is that he gets Kitty Pryde, who can phase through things, gives her some giant man serum, makes her real big, and has her phase into Galactus and break his machine. Yeah.
We crawl up his arse and we blow you up.
Essentially, but from the outside is what happened there.
Cool.
All of that was a distraction to open up a portal to the negative zone and send Galactus into it.
Makes sense.
So, fine, that's all done. So, after this, Reed Richards is like trusted and he's hired by S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nick Fury comes to him and is like, hey, Reed, we need someone to think of every possible thing that could happen. Like a big Galactus man just came from the sky. We need someone who can plan for these kind of eventualities. And Reed accepted, but his redemption had been a facade. He secretly continued his operations, now going by the name of the Maker, as the head of the Children of the Future trying to rebuild the Earth.
They're surprised that the man with the God complex thinks that he's God.
True.
Yeah.
However, he has also, at this point, he's made his head real big so that he could stretch his brain so that he could be smarter. He wears a special helmet and he looks like the most villainous man to ever live.
He's the type of man you'd look at and you'd go, he's a villain.
Then, at some point, he became aware of incursions happening. This is I suppose, an event, a galactic event in Marvel Comics where two universes crash together and destroy each other. The idea being that if you get rid of that other universe, you'll be grand. Your universe will be fine. So he began to see alternate realities. He saw this happening over and over again. And any time that the Ultimate Universe was threatened, Reed Richards would destroy the other Earth of that universe so nothing could crash into it. Reed Richards destroyed 67 Earths in the Ultimate Universe.
That's almost too many Earths when you think
almost too many, or too off of being funny.
Yeah,
but
at least get to the number.
At least do
it.
While preparing to destroy another world, he saw it detonate prematurely before he had anything to do with it. And this is where he witnessed the arrival of the Cabal from Earth 616. And this is, Namor leads them, and Namor's basically doing the same thing. He's blowing up Earth so that Earth 616 can survive. So
Namor, also known bastard, is
absolute
doing the same
prick.
thing. Also
in love with Sue Storm. It's hilarious.
Also a god complex. Two of them are the same human being.
And these incursions happened. This was an actual thing that happened in Marvel Comics, was the incursions, and they destroyed universes. Like, there were comic storylines that ended with the universe being destroyed. And until there were two left.
Yeah.
Earth 616 and the Ultimate Universe.
I mean, to be fair, like, they did Crisis on Infinite Earths for DC. Like,
yeah,
it's just
very similar.
smashing Earths together. Like, you make all these storylines, they're like, right, well, we need to put them all together into one Earth. Just because it's way easier. And
it's way more straightforward. It's a lot less confusing for everyone involved. Absolutely. So the Maker, Reed Richards, allied with the Cabal, and they began working on a way of surviving the final incursion. So Reed, meanwhile, is whispering to Nick Fury, being like, hey, if we destroy Earth 616, we'll be the last one left and we'll survive. Yeah. And so this starts a big war between both universes, while also both Earths are about to crash together. And then the Maker steals plans for a life raft from Reed Richards from Earth 616. And so Reed Richards saves a number of the heroes from Earth 616, and the Maker saves the Cabal and a lot of villains. He saves Thanos, because he's like, he would help me if I need him.
Came to it.
if it came to it, I want him on my side. So Reed is like, come on, you're in the life raft. Miles Morales sneaks aboard that life raft.
It's a pretty big life raft, to be fair, if Thanos is on it.
It's sizable. It is
and
sizable.
And Galactus is also on it, or is he
Galactus is still in the negative zone at that point.
Okay, cool.
And then, basically, both Earths crash together. All that is left is the life rafts. And who should come back but Doctor Doom, who sets up Battle World and the Secret Wars event. Now, that's where we're going to leave it for now, because Secret Wars is something I actually want to cover in its own episode.
And it has been announced as having its own movie.
It's also getting its own movie, so it's going to be. I'm going to do like a little precursor, a little like rundown of how the comics work out. But that's where we're ending the story of Ultimate Reed Richards, the maker, for this.
The man who saves Thanos and lets all of the heroes die.
Saves Thanos, lets so many heroes die, destroys 67 Earths to protect himself, wants to basically start humanity over again, thinks he's a god. So many. Wanted to dissect Tony Stark alive. Like, he's
but
just
you know what, though? Like, what? Earth 616, that's the regular Marvel Earth. Mm-hmm. That Reed Richards, I think if he heard those plans, he would also think, well, he probably had a good reason, to be fair to him.
Can I just, the Earth 616 Reed Richards, he did destroy a few Earths and then decided, no, this is too much.
We've all destroyed a few Earths. I'm not going to judge him for that, Sean, but go on.
But 67.
60, it's too many.
And then just very briefly on powers and abilities, largely the same as regular Reed Richards.
Do you know Reed Richards is, I mean, he can stretch, but his biggest strength is just being a bastard.
It's his ability to inflict pain and misery on everyone around him. So elasticity, his cells have been replaced with pliable bacteria stacks. He can stretch his body in myriad ways without disrupting the necessary functions of vital organs. He can also stretch his brain to make himself more clever, essentially making him a human computer. According to Reed himself, his biology is not based on the principle of entropy, causing him to be effectively immortal. He also does not need nourishment.
Die.
He doesn't have need for a vascular system or oxygen. He has survived in vacuums. And I love the way they describe this on the wiki, is that he possibly fails the definition of being alive.
Someone read that out at my funeral. Guys, he possibly fails the definition of being alive. But look, you know what? That's the way he wanted to go.
And then also super genius intelligence. So he's a child prodigy, decades ahead of his time. His powers augmented his intelligence, making his brain bigger.
Well, he's centuries ahead of his time after 900 years.
Actually, yes, he is. He's a very smart man. He has an IQ of 267. And this is a reference to DC Comics, apparently. Tony Stark stated him to be a intellect level 12. Apparently the best it can be in the DC
Who chose
universe.
12 as the best?
Marvel does a 1 to 7 rating system, so who knows?
I'm not even sure what 12 is. That breaks the system.
Batman's probably an 11.
He's probably a 6. If we're going to go off. He's an idiot, that lad.
And then on the 1 to 7 Marvel rating system, intelligence of 6, strength of 2.
How is he a 6? Sorry.
Because 7 would be he knows everything everywhere all of the time.
But he kind of does.
Well, he does in the comics now. So after Secret Wars, right? They remade. I know, like, we're short on time.
No, but he does know everything now.
He does know everything, but at the time that this story happens, he doesn't know everything in all universes everywhere.
Okay.
Whereas
so that's because he blew them all up.
Blew them all up. But at the minute in the comics, they remade all the universes, and all the Reed Richards, all the maker Reed Richards in those universes all share one single consciousness. So he is conscious of every universe all of the time.
So he knows everything.
He knows everything now. But at the minute, intelligence of 6, strength of 2, speed of 2, durability of 5, energy projection of 1, and fighting skills of 2.
I think so. Durability's got to be 7 as well.
Well, he did get burned that one time.
Okay, 6,
quite badly
but
burned.
the man can't die. He's immortal.
And then they froze him in Fantastic Four 2005. You remember that?
Oh,
remember that happening?
I remember that happened.
So it's easy. Look, it's an easy to have happen.
It's easy done. It's easy done to get frozen, Sean.
But that is my very brief report, Connor, on Reed Richards, the maker.
The man, the myth, the legend, the bastard. Reed
absolute
Richards.
dog of a man.
An absolute dog of a man. We joined him up with Hank Pym, Ant-Man, just awful human beings. Sean, would you like me to take us out?
Yes, please, Connor.
If you liked what you heard here, we have, as we said, lots of other episodes covering a whole bunch of other heroes and villains, and that some of them are good and some of them are terrible and some of them are funny, and in terms of character choice, one of them was a guy who was made of ice cream. That was his power. I remember that.
That's true. I remember there was a man called the Badger who had no powers based around being a badger.
No, he just was a badger. There's a guy who, Doorman, he's our favourite, and
Doorman's
then the Black Condor, he just learned to fly from looking at birds.
Shout out to the Fabulous Frogman, a man who can jump a bit.
Comics are weird, man. They're all up on our heroesforhire.ie website. So basically, if you can think of a comic book character that you like, or you think is weird, we've probably done a report on them. All you have to do is just go to our website. As I said, heroesforhire.ie. Just go to the search bar. The episode will pop up there. We also have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They're all linked down below. And we have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/heroesforhirepodcast, where we put up a whole bunch of extra content and extra movie reviews and all that stuff. But most importantly, Sean, you can just tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Sean Meehan.
I shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.